What's good, y'all? It's your boy Jones here on Jones for Sports, and this is the Locker Room Sundays. And today we have me and E have a special guest for you guys. You guys may have heard him on Jones for Sports podcast. You may have heard him on Bleacher Creatures podcast. That is the very own Luke Coffey. Luke, what's up, boy?
What's going on, man? What's going on, both of y'all?
Thanks for joining us, man. So as you know, we're here to talk about football, which is something I know you're very good at. We've had our episodes before where we.
Yeah, this is not the NBA.
Yeah, so we finally got Luke back, guys. So you already know there's a lot that we're going to talk about. But before we get started, I want to first put out for those that are listening the Madden 20 online league that I started. If you are interested, if you have a PS4, this is only for PS4 users only. You can you can add me at JNFS2391. That is my gamer tag. And once you add me, I will add you to the online league, and we can get started from there. So I just wanted to put that out there, and we can get started. So, first, we're going to talk about AB and his little helmet drama. Now, for those that follow Jones for Sports, you guys already know that I put up a post yesterday about it and told you that we were definitely going to talk about this topic. So I know people are anxious to hear what we have to say. But before I go, I want to throw it up for you guys to talk about it. I'll let you go first, Luke, because you used to have this player on your team. So I'll let you take it away.
Am I surprised that something like this is causing more drama with Antonio Brown? No, not at all. Because at this point, we've proven that I'm not going to say Antonio Brown might be the most selfish player in the league.
Mm-hmm.
What I will say is that he seems to be the biggest diva we've seen probably since T.O.
T.O., yeah.
And that to me is hysterical because every time we trade with Oakland for a third-round pick, it works out better for us anyway. A la Martavis Bryant.
Yeah.
But I'm not shocked, and I don't really think that Mike Mayock and Gruden can handle this. Mm-hmm. Because we had said on the Bleacher Creatures that what happened when John Gruden came into Tampa Bay back in the early 2000s? Mm-hmm. That he inherited a Super Bowl caliber team, but he could never bridge a relationship with Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah, that relationship got real spicy.
Is so similar to Antonio Brown in terms of just being like I'm not going to say the word diva, but a larger personality receiver.
Right.
You can't expect every receiver that you have to be, like a Julian Edelman. Or,
exactly. All about profession.
Or like Calvin Johnson, someone who just shuts up, goes to work.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, is the league going to fold on this? No, because they're fighting how many millions of dollars in lawsuits about CTE. So the league's not going to fold, not going to bend on this for one guy.
Yep.
And if you're telling me your helmet restricts your vision that bad, that sounds just like a crock of shit, to be completely honest.
I have to agree with you 100%. It has to be 100% bullshit because why isn't anyone else stepping up and saying anything? Like, that's my whole thing is, why isn't any other receivers making a big deal about this? Why are you the only one making a big deal about this shit? Now, someone brought up this to me earlier on Jones for Sports, the Facebook page. They commented and said that Tom Brady had somewhat of a similar issue, I think a couple years ago, but no one knew about it because Tom Brady handled it professionally. Exactly, so that's why we didn't hear about it. But because it's AB, he has to make such a big deal about it and talk about how he doesn't need the NFL and shit like that. He can retire, but he forgot. The NFL made him. If it wasn't for the NFL, he wouldn't be who he is. He wouldn't have those millions of dollars. So that's where I have an issue about. But go ahead, E.
That to me, that's like saying when Odell came out and said that he was basically the reason why the Giants were on TV. There's not one player bigger than a team.
Right.
Brands. So
exactly.
You know damn well there's not one player bigger than the league's brand.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is like what makes it all worse is all the shit that we heard from AB. You know, for this whole offseason.
Yep.
His whole exit from Pittsburgh was messy.
Mm-hmm.
Throwing shots at Juju, throwing shots at Big Ben. Yep. Then you get hurt because you're not wearing the proper footwear and the hyper chamber shit. And then now it's if they don't let me wear my old helmet, I'm not gonna play again.
Like that shit kills me. I mean, you're on a new team. You got to change the perception about you. Everyone already knows, like you said.
You're on a new team who just traded draft picks for you.
Exactly. Yep. And John Gruden supports him. Now, of course, he has to do that. I mean,
yeah. What else is he gonna say?
Exactly. He's got to support him. I think it's full of shit. But if this continues on into the actual season, then we're gonna see a whole different John Gruden. He's not gonna be too happy about it. But I think he's just trying to be supportive because he wants to do anything and everything he can to keep AB on the team and fight his battle with him or whatever the case may be. But AB, you gotta change the perception about you that you're this big ass diva and that you don't always cause the problems. Because I did fight for AB to a certain extent when it came to Big Ben, because we know Big Ben wasn't the greatest leader over there as well, and he made some mistakes. But we also know that AB is one of the biggest divas, if not the biggest diva we've seen. So for him to act this way on a new team, causing distraction for his new team, is just ridiculous. And they're on Hard Knocks. I don't know if it's just for that or whatever the case may be, but this shit's annoying. And it's got to stop.
Let me bring this up with you two because I'm curious to hear your take.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the Raiders have a kicking and screaming 4-year-old that's throwing his little tantrum.
Yep.
What happens when week 1 comes around and AB, let's say, hopefully is on the field?
Mm-hmm.
What happens when his quarterback, who on a talent level is not as good as Ben Roethlisberger,
yep,
can't get him the ball as much? Because AB's still going to draw double coverage.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing's going to change there.
I mean, you're going to hear, I believe the shots are going to be thrown towards Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Because in my thing, that's the Oakland situation is different because not only will we have AB against him, we already know Gruden don't want Carr there anyway.
Yep. So, yeah, exactly.
He needs a scapegoat to get rid of Carr.
Exactly, and that's the first person that's going to be Carr.
Who's not getting the ball complain about the quarterback.
Yep, that's going to be his exit. Definitely. I think this is going to be Derek Carr's last year in Oakland for sure.
So are we thinking that Oakland goes into the draft next year looking to use their first on one of those QBs coming in, like Tua or Justin Herbert?
I can definitely see it. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
If everything he said, which makes total sense in my head, actually happens, that nothing else makes sense.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy, but already they're starting drama in Oakland, and for the same reason that you said earlier, Luke, about the NFL is facing a whole bunch of fucking lawsuits. Like, why the hell would they change their mind because of one player who happens to be AB? Like, no, they got to protect themselves. They're already being shit on as it is, so they got to protect themselves, and they're not going to lay down for AB.
No, never.
All right, so we got that off our chest, and we definitely need to get that off because that shit was pissing me off. Like, I try to be, support AB as much as I can, but that just was too much for me. But moving on.
You know what it is?
Go ahead.
Wait, before. My thing is, honestly, what it is too is now we've kind of moved on from that version of the diva receiver.
Exactly, and he brought it right back.
You know what I mean? Because if you look at the other top guys, do we list them as divas? Do we talk about Julio as a diva? Do we talk about Hopkins as a diva?
No.
The only two we only talk about two when it comes to this, and it's AB and Odell.
And exactly.
What happened to guys who got traded?
Yep.
Well, let's not forget too. Tyreek Hill may not be a diva, but he's got the legal bullshit behind him.
Yeah, he definitely does.
Ever since he came into the league, that lowered his draft stock.
Yeah, for sure.
You'd have to think he's on his last leg of faith too.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Running with the law, he has to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. So now moving on to the next topic, we're going to talk about the NFL Power Rankings from ESPN. So we'll talk about our team specifically, and then we'll talk about the top 5. So Luke, we'll start off with your team, the Steelers. They got projected at 16th out of the whole 32. Projected 8.5 wins, 45% chance of making the playoffs. Your thoughts?
Too low. We need to at least be over Cleveland. But
Yeah.
if you look at who surrounds us. Cleveland is at 15. Baltimore's at 17. I think they got that right because the AFC North is always a dogfight. But this year with 3 talented teams and the Bengals, it's going to be just it's going to be a beatdown every time interdivision games happen. It just even with the Bengals, that's just how it plays out. I personally have us winning the division at 10-6 because I think we'll be able to. I think we can rise above. Put the drama behind us, rise above, and the defense is finally on a personnel level has the talent and the experience to actually get back to the level that makes us go and keeps us productive. I think you said you watched the game against Tampa the other day, right? Our preseason game.
I seen parts.
Okay. For those of you who didn't watch that game, Devin Bush led the team with tackles. We've been missing that since Shazier got hurt. That's the production we need that makes our 3-4 go. That's what makes it productive and what makes it scary. That plus Steven Nelson, we have another legit corner. Artie Burns is not starting anymore, thank God. Davis and Edmonds look okay. The front 3 led the league in sacks last year, plus Watt and Dupree. I mean, what's not to like? And honestly, James Washington's showing flashes. Deontay Johnson's looking like he's at least going to be productive. I don't think we're going to have this talent hangover that people are putting over our heads. Just because you lose Le'Veon Bell, you lose Antonio Brown. Guess what? We still have the guy who threw the ball to Antonio Brown in last year.
Yeah.
We still have Vance McDonald, who no one talks about. We still have a 3-headed monster running back that will be productive.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, even at running back, you have James Conner, who doesn't have that lingering. Is Le'Veon coming back this season over his head?
Right.
It's basically he's got the shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, right. The only question at running back is where does Benny Snell fit into the equation? Because he's going to play. He's going to make the 53. And then Jalen Samuels, I mean, supposedly we're supposed to be running a lot of 2-back sets out of the shotgun. Because Samuels is like a perfect scat back. Let Connor and Snell be the power backs. All the pieces are there. All the pieces are fucking there. It's just a question of staying healthy, which in the NFL is never a guarantee, but then also, how are you going to play against not only your division, but week 1 we play the fucking Patriots.
Oh yeah,
we can't beat them, but it's at Foxborough.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, but like you said, you can beat them.
Yeah, you got to beat the teams that you got to beat.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, and the key for you guys is always going to be what you do in division.
Yeah.
Because like you said, that's always a dogfight. So, I believe there's a lot of credit going towards Pittsburgh, and we haven't even seen them. And me and Sean spoke about a couple weeks ago is we can't automatically give them the Super Bowl because they've made these additions because we don't know how that chemistry is going to be.
Right.
100%. And how you just spoke about the AB situation. week 1, week 2 comes and Odell's not getting.
Yeah, it's the same story.
Is he gonna flip on Baker now?
Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And then also, and then not specifically with Baltimore too. What the hell is that offense gonna look like?
Right.
It's like it's RPO.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they were saying that they're gonna run the ball even more this year with Lamar. So that's only gonna. Exactly. It's gonna turn into another RG3 situation.
Is in the worst possible division for what he's being asked to do.
Right. Exactly. You've got tough defense all across the board.
He's in a division, even the Bengals.
Yeah.
Is perfect. They still like to headhunt and play physical.
Exactly. So he's definitely going to have a tough time just in that division alone. But I agree with you, Luke. I think that was way too high for them. I think they should have been above Cleveland. I think they should have been above Seahawks. They should. Someone tell me why the Titans are fucking 13th on the power rankings. Like, I don't understand it. What did they do in the offseason to change all that? Huh?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Who did they sign that?
Yeah, exactly.
Up there already.
And not to say anything against Green Bay, but who?
I said, well, they picked up Tannehill, so I guess
Yeah, I mean that didn't make any difference. Yeah, I don't. The only thing I give them is their defense. They got defense for sure, so I'm not going to take that away from them. But that's not enough to put them above Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh almost made the playoffs last year. They were out by one game. Even Green Bay, I don't even see why Green Bay is above them. I didn't see them get better this year with a whole new offense where we have already heard that that Aaron Rodgers is already starting to have problems with the coach. We don't know how that's going to look. So I think they definitely lowballed the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they should be higher this year. I definitely have them winning the division, but it's definitely going to be a dogfight because that division is tough as hell. So, E, what are your thoughts on that one, actually?
I agree totally. If you listen to our first podcast, as my early predictions, I have Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl.
Right, that's right. You did.
I'm giving them that division, because in my eyes, I like the additions. I was mad that they actually drafted Bush because that was actually my Broncos pick traded to them. And I was calling for Devin Bush the whole way.
You were.
Broncos drafted. He's right there. Sure enough, we trade Pittsburgh selects him. So, hey, I like it. They got another year of Joe Hayden.
Mm-hmm.
Picked up Mark Barron, athletic. Used to be a safety. But they have a linebacker now.
Yeah, that's a killer.
Mm-hmm. Steven Nelson at corner, that was a big pickup as well.
Nelson, the only thing I say is their secondary receivers and stuff are going to have to step up because, like you said before, Sean, Juju's going to start seeing a lot more attention now.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Juju's the number one now, so he's going to be, double covered and matched up against number one corners.
Yep, definitely agree with that. So now we'll move on to my So we'll move on to my team, which is Dallas, and they're projected at 19th overall, 8.4 wins, which I don't really understand the decimals with that, but 44% chance to make the playoffs. Now, obviously, you guys know that I disagree with this shit. I think we're way too low. Too high on this list. I think we'll be top 15 at the least. But 19, I don't see us being worse than the Ravens, then the Titans, then Green Bay. I think even though we do have a tough schedule, I think we have the team built to make it happen. We finally have a defense. We have an offense now. Obviously, we have the holdout of Zeke. We obviously got to see how that all plays out. But if we have the roster that we had last year, plus the additions that we made, And our defense is still playing lights out. I think our defense was top 10 last year, and I expect us to be top 10 again this year. I definitely see us progressing above what we did last year. This year I think I have us going to the NFC champ. Yeah, I do actually. I have us going to the NFC Championship against the Bears. I have us losing, but I still got us going there. I think Jerry Jones and the other, I forgot the other GM there, has done a great job of putting together a young team. We're one of the youngest teams in the league of full time offense and defense. So much you guys see those 13 and 3 Cowboys teams that was mainly offense, but now we have a team that's offense and defense, and that you guys know how I feel about defense. I'm all about defense. Defense wins championships. I always say that, and I think we have that team to do it. So that's my stance on that. But that obviously is if Zeke actually plays all 16 games. If he starts to miss games, then that means that we're going to have to put more of the pressure on Dak Prescott, who I support, but not to that extent. To see him try to lead us to the playoffs by himself, say Zeke holds out the whole season, I'm not relying on Dak to get us there. But we do have some talent that we drafted. Pollard, I think his name is. He's a pretty good back, and we also got the running back from Ohio State, Mike Weber, who was pretty fast. So we'll still be in good shape, but I'm not going to leave no chance for Dak to do it by himself. So Zeke, they got to get that those contracts done, and we'll go from there. But that's my thoughts. What are your thoughts?
Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's assume you guys wisen up and pay Zeke.
Yep.
Before week 1.
Yep.
I think you got a similar problem that Pittsburgh has with your secondary receivers, because we saw the production y'all had out of your receivers before and after Amari Cooper.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amari Cooper is going to get blanketed. It's almost an identical situation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, like, of your secondary receivers, because we know your defense is rock solid.
Yep.
Of those secondary receivers, who do you think is going to be like the biggest impact guy? Because you don't have Cole Beasley anymore either.
Right, and that's perfect that you said that. You said.
I hope you don't say Jason Witten just because.
No, hell no. I have much love and respect for my boy. I'm not gonna do that. I got mad love for Witten, a future Hall of Famer, and all that. But our second guy is going to be Randall Cobb, someone that's been there, done that, has something to prove to Green Bay as well this year, that he deserved to he wanted to stay there. They didn't want to pay him what he was asking for. I think Cobb is a better version of Cole Beasley, someone that can catch the ball and get some yak yards. He's not as shifty as Cole Beasley, but he still can, like I said, pick up some yak yards. I think he's going to be huge, and that will also open up some room for guys like Gallup and Tavon Austin when he gets in the game, because we already know how fast he is. He had a pretty good season, not pretty quiet season, but he had a pretty good season for us last year. So I think receiver-wise, we have enough guys to make it work, but that's all depending on if we have a running game. And like I said, when it comes to Dak Prescott, he's a good quarterback. I'm not taking that away from him, but he can't throw the ball deep. And that's something that Gallup, who we drafted 2 years ago, specializes in. He's a deep guy. And he burned a few guys last year by miles, but Dak could not get it to him. He either overthrew him or he underthrew him, or his accuracy is just not there. So that's something that I hope he can work on and he can get there and make that adjustment. But other than that, that's who I'm going with as our second guy is Cobb.
I got no argument there.
My thing with you guys is your defense is good. They showed that game last year against the Saints that everybody thought you guys were going to get toasted.
Right.
But I mean, to me, it's the same thing I said to Luke. Is big thing for you guys is in division.
Yeah, that division is tough.
Right now is a team race.
Yep.
Between you guys and Philly.
Yep.
So that's it. We're being honest. There's 3 to 4 wins on that table for you guys just by 2 games with the Giants and 2 games with Washington.
Mm-hmm.
You know, starting like you say, you guys got a tough schedule, but same thing Luke said before about the Steelers. You gotta beat the teams you're supposed to beat.
Yeah, you have to. We got to win our division for sure.
Struggle against those teams and expect to win that division because we know what Philly is capable of.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
My eyes, that's the only team in that division that should be giving you guys problems.
Yep. I
agree. I agree with everything you said. You know.
So you think we'll be higher? We should be higher.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Like you said, the one constant we're gonna talk about here is how the fuck are the Titans so high?
Yeah, it makes no sense to me. Luke, is there something that you saw in the Titans that they did that put them so high?
No, I think it took them about 14 weeks to figure out that they had a good running back. Mariota might be the most fragile quarterback in the NFL.
Right.
Backed up by the second most fragile quarterback in the NFL. Delaney Walker is like 37 now.
Yeah. He's getting old.
Aside from Corey Davis and your running backs, yeah, you got a defense, but you're going to get that division is tough as shit, especially with the Colts being back now as like a legitimate team. They don't have I don't think they've ever they're not going to have the firepower to I don't think they're making it to the fucking playoffs. I think everyone kind of I'm giving the Colts that division.
Me too.
With Houston losing out on a wild card spot barely. But I don't the only question mark in that division is, are the Jaguars back or are they 4-12 again?
Right. That's the big question.
That's my thing. My thing with the Titans are they were the Jaguars having a halfway decent quarterback away from being last place again.
Yeah. Yep. Totally agree.
For them to be 13? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it makes no sense. They're definitely last in my opinion in that division. Unless, again, like we said, we find out that the Jaguars are going to be the same team they were last year. But I highly doubt that with a better quarterback, same defense. I think they'll be better this year. So, that's my thoughts on the Cowboys and shit like that. So now we'll go to your team, E, which is the Denver Broncos. And they got you guys all the way down at 22 with 7 wins and an 18% of making the playoffs. Your thoughts?
I mean, if we're going off what happened last year, I understand. Listen, we have the talent defensively to compete with any team.
Yep.
Our biggest problem was offense last year. And, once again, a new year, a new quarterback. We went for another, former Super Bowl win. We went and got another former Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Yep.
Which I think is actually an upgrade over Case Keenum.
Definitely.
The dude did not want, I'm telling you, last year watching games was almost like if we didn't run the ball, it was like, all right, we're going to go 3 and out anyway. Because if the guy wasn't throwing a check out, he just wasn't throwing the ball at all.
Right. Like thinking Dak.
Yeah, it's my thing. Granted, we don't have the amazing wide receiver core that some teams do, but you got Emmanuel Sanders who's pretty good, and you don't even try to throw the ball deep, and half your games you're playing in high altitude, which caused our defense to be on the field a lot.
Right, and that's never good.
You know what I mean? But do I 7 wins? I can see us going at least 8. Go for at least 8 to 10 wins. I'm gonna tell you why. We're in a tough division.
Yeah.
like we have two teams in our division that can easily beat that are probably in the top 10.
Yeah.
You know, and Mahomes, it looks like he's just getting started.
Yep.
Phillip Rivers, it seems like he doesn't get old.
Yeah. Plus a good defense on that team.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's the thing. In my eyes, like we can have the best defense in our division.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I can see that.
You know, we still have Von Miller, probably top 2 pass rushers in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Good. We have a good secondary. You know, we have Chris Harris, who was hurt a little last year. We got rid of Bradley Roby, who was getting fucking toasted last year.
Yeah.
Yo, I was at the game they played the Jets, and I was just literally looking like, how are you letting this run by you? Literally, and it's like he wasn't even trying. When he would get beat, it was just like, how? Like, it's not like dudes were just killing him bang off the line. No, he was just getting killed. Well, but I mean, we got a new head coach, Vic Fangio, he was the Bears defense coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that because that means he speaks defense. And I mean, last time we won the Super Bowl, we won it off our defense. All we just need is a quarterback who can take care of the ball. We got Philip Lindsay, who proved to be a decent, running back. And let's see what his second year is about. He was undrafted and still made the Pro Bowl.
Yep.
We need some production out of our tight ends. That's the one position on offense is like those. It's like no matter who we draft, they can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing for me offensively is our fucking offensive line was horrible.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be an upgrade.
They literally can get beat by anything.
And y'all lost Paris, which hurts.
Yeah. That definitely does hurt.
Yeah, we lost him. We brought in Juwan James from the Dolphins.
Yep.
No,
I hit the high right tackle.
Yeah. And he wasn't even that good at left, so hopefully moving him to right makes him a little better. But offensively, we have Sanders coming off an Achilles injury.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope Cortland Sutton in his second year could, take that step and try to fill the void left by Demaryius Thomas.
Yep. Hopefully.
He's a big target.
Yeah, exactly. He's a huge target.
And our first round pick, Noah Fant, let's see what he does. Like I say, he's another tight end. So successful for me is if he stays healthy this year.
Yeah.
He's your most important player in that offense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's a mismatch problem.
He's a mismatch nightmare.
But look, he's too fast for any linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
And he's too big for any safety or nickel you want to try to put on him.
Yeah, 100%. Every time Joe Flacco had a productive year was when he had either Todd Heap or some other, coming out of nowhere tight end.
Yeah.
To throw, because we all know Flacco's got the arm. In Denver, you'll see the deep ball.
Yeah, for sure.
Gonna happen. Yeah, let's be real here. Fant is going to be his favorite target.
Yep.
Yeah. It's guaranteed. Yep.
And also, y'all got to sweep Oakland.
Yeah,
just to stay competitive, you have to sweep Oakland. If you could steal a game from the Chargers in your building, that only adds to your playoff cause.
Yep.
If your offense gets rolling, y'all could possibly steal a wild card.
Yeah, and for us, playoff wise, the only way I see us get into the playoffs is if we can get a wild card.
Yeah. Agreed. Flacco's going to need to be big, and that defense is going to have to get back to championship level.
Yeah.
That's the only way I see that happening. But
defensively from us, the one thing that I'm a little nervous about is our middle linebackers.
Okay. Who do you guys got there right now?
There.
Tom Davis?
We got Todd Davis there, and then we got a second year Joel, something like that. He's a second year guy, and it's like that's the one. Last year we let go of Brandon Marshall, the injuries. He was always hurt.
Yeah, he was.
You know, and that's the one thing. If you look at us, we get killed a lot by tight ends. You know, we got to go against Travis Kelce twice a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
San Diego, you got a tight end that ends up doing work against us.
Right.
Yep. Not surprising you wanted Devin Bush.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been a great fit for that defense.
He would have fit our system fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, like you said, that's another division that you're gonna have to do pretty good. I mean, I don't expect you guys to win it, but you're gonna have to win a lot of division games to stay in the hunt. So now that we did all of our teams, we'll just do the top 5 and just give our thoughts on should they be there or who should replace them. Starting at number 5, we got the Indianapolis Colts. Now, for those that have listened to the other podcast, you guys know that I'm high on the Colts this year. I think they're going to have one of the great seasons with Andrew Luck back healthy, especially what they did last year after I think they started 0-5 or something like that and won 10 straight games or whatever the case may be. But they got that rookie linebacker who led the league in tackles, which is just insane. I think they're... Yeah, Darius. That dude. I think he's going to be great. They got Justin Houston back there on the line. So I think that defense is going to be strong, and Andrew Luck has a lot to get back to. He won Most Improved last year, and now I have him as my early MVP, but we'll see how the season progresses before I make that as my final decision. But I'm okay with the Colts making the top 5. They got projected at 9 wins and 57% chance to make the playoffs. You can go, Luke.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Indy being there. You took a team that was sneaky good last year, and all they did was get better.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm worried about with Indy is production out of the running back spot. I had the misfortune of owning Marlon Mack in fantasy.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't scoring 35 points, I was scoring like 3.
So it was hit or miss.
And Nyheim Hines is not... He's a good backup, but when Mack gets hurt, there's... Like, Mack to begin with, he's a good back. He's not an elite A-level back. But there's nobody behind him that scares you. There's not a two-headed monster. So, but if you don't have a two-headed monster, you don't have a three-headed monster.
Right.
And I hope to God that the pieces around Luck, including his O-line, stay healthy. Because in that division, defense, he's facing solid defenses 6 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
But I got no problem with 5. I think they are the best.
All right. Nice. So do you have them...
There's the only thing...
Before you go, E, I wanted to ask Luke, where do you have them in that division? Do you guys have them...
Colts?
Yeah, the Colts.
I got them winning it.
Okay. Go ahead, E.
That right there, the right there is the reason why, in a way, I don't mind them being in the top 5, but being that they made it over one team is only 2 teams for certain that I'm kind of like iffy about. They made it over the Chargers and the Bears.
Yeah, they did.
Justin Houston, I mean, if anything has showed you the past couple of years, he's slowing down on him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the only thing that I don't mind seeing them there is because it looks like Luck is back.
Right.
It's like he's finally healthy over the injury, you know. And the best thing for them was last year picking up Ebron.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Ebron had a hell of a year with them last year.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, they got a young leader on their defense now in Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the thing with them is they're in a division that's kind of defense heavy.
Yeah, it is. It's very strong. Very strong.
So that's 6 games right there. It's going to be good defense.
Yeah, that might be, if not the best defensive division right now. If I'm looking at it right now, and it has to be done. All four teams have a solid defense. Yeah, so
and
that
it goes to what you said is the biggest question offensively is their running game.
yeah, like you
If you have a running game, you can't rely on Luck sitting back there all day throwing the ball.
right.
You gotta being a guy who just watched his team whose only offensive weapon was a running game. All teams are gonna do is load the box and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Now against passing, they're just gonna play back on you.
Yep.
But I'm not mad at the top five. I'm just saying it worries me a little just because the two teams are over.
Right. Now that you brought it up, I could see if they were to put the Chargers or the Bears in there as well, because like I told you guys earlier, the Bears, I have them winning the NFC Championship and going to the Super Bowl. So I could definitely see them in that top five as well.
I think the Bears edge them defensively.
Yeah, I agree, definitely, for sure.
Let's not forget, if the seeding was done right, the Chargers would have been like a 2 seed last year in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Wild card. Yeah.
Yep. For sure, I agree. Okay. So now the next team at number 4 is the New England Patriots. No surprise there.
Of course.
Projected for 10 wins and an 85% chance to make the playoffs. Obviously, can't really disagree with it because they are the New England Patriots and they have the easiest division of all football. They own that division. They will continue to own that division as long as Tom Brady and Bill Belichick is there. I have no problem with them being in the top 5. Every year I want to find a reason to knock them out of the top 5, top 10, but I can't, because I always say, all right, they can't do it again. They can't do it again. But what do? They do it again. And I gave up on it. So I have no problem with them being in there. And yeah, that's all I got to say.
Aside from Miami being basically a moving pile of dog shit,
yep.
Buffalo and the Jets are actually not bad though.
No, yeah, I definitely agree with the Jets. I'm not sure about Buffalo.
In those 4 games, the two with Buffalo and the Jets, you might see a Pats team that isn't exactly what's the word? Coasting to victory as smooth as it usually goes in the last couple years.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Against the Jets, at least.
And also, would I be shocked if either the Jets or Buffalo steals a game in their house?
Yeah, for sure.
Probably not, especially early in the year, because every team at some point, at one point in the regular season, loses one game that they probably should have won.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't be if it comes either to the Bills or the Jets. I don't think they're going to have a problem with Miami, even though they usually have a problem with Miami.
Right.
They usually do have a problem down in Miami.
Down in Miami, yeah.
I mean, the one big thing, everybody can say is, I know pretty much all of us here probably don't want to see them win again.
Nope.
We can all say, all right, they're going to suck. They don't have Gronk.
Right.
That's the one goal that it seems like they haven't really filled it, because it's like every tight end they try to get, they either something happened with the trade or they end up cutting him the next day or something like that.
Yep.
So I can see them running the ball a lot more this year.
Yeah, they also did pick up a receiver who was pretty. Yeah, he's pretty good. So that's going to be another weapon for Brady, and that's. I mean, if you get Brady more weapons, we already know how dangerous he can be.
If we're being completely honest, you lose Gronk, I get it. N'Keal Harry is not equally big, but equally, I would say, athletic. And if you can run him out of the slot, replicate those routes, I don't think you're having that crazy of a drop-off.
Right, yeah. And
fucking Patriots. So why are we assuming any sort of decline in production from anybody?
Right, exactly.
It seems like that they can find a homeless guy, put him in pads, and he'll make the Pro Bowl.
Absolutely. Can't disagree with you at all there. And for the most part, Gronk, the Patriots are not, not used to having Gronk on the field because Gronk is always injured. So it's not like this is not something they've seen before. So I think the life without Gronk will be fine. And we'll see the same Patriots that we're used to seeing. But Luke did bring up great points that, at least for the Jets, on my part, I think the Jets are definitely going to give them a challenge this year. I think they got better on both sides of the ball. So we'll see how that turns out. Not so sure about Buffalo, though. Not so sure about
top 5 defense have weapons. Just warning you now.
on the defense.
The Jets actually have one of the rocks I like this year.
Mm-hmm.
I like the nice young collection of guys they got, and of course adding Le'Veon Bell doesn't hurt.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely doesn't hurt at all. So now we'll move on to number 3, and that is the Los Angeles Rams. They are projected 10 wins, 76% chance to make the playoffs. For me, I mean, I'm not mad at them being 3, but because of their defense and all that, but I'm still not 100% sold on their quarterback. Based on what we saw in the playoffs, he didn't have an outstanding playoffs. That they got to the Super Bowl because of their defense and their running back play.
Wait. I really don't want to cut you off, but
No, go ahead.
I'll do you one better. The last game we seen of them was the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They didn't score a touchdown.
Exactly.
They didn't score a touchdown, and we have them rated over the team that beat them in the Super Bowl.
That's what I was gonna say. That was gonna be my next point.
Granted, I do see them, taking that division because they're in that division where it pretty much seems like
it's theirs to lose.
Seattle give them a little bit of a test.
Right.
That's their division to take regardless.
Absolutely.
But it's like there's still some questions of how
Gurley's gonna be.
Todd Gurley.
Yep. So
it's like you can see almost what the team did against Jacksonville. So it's like, all right, we'll worry about the run. Let your quarterback beat us.
Exactly. I'm not sold on the Rams. Don't get me wrong. Their defense is still stacked. If there's anything that can hold them together, it will be that defense. But like I said, I'm not sold on the quarterback. And we don't know about how Gurley's going to perform this year, or if he even performs at all, because he's got tendonitis in his knees. And we already seen how that played out in the playoffs. So I'm not sold on that. But go ahead, Luke.
At least they got it right in terms of the team that should have went to the Super Bowl from the NFC is ahead of them.
Yep.
And all I'll say is this: I'm extremely concerned about Todd Gurley's health.
Yeah, I am too. I am.
I think, as y'all know, my co-host on Bleacher Creatures is a personal trainer and physical therapist.
Yep.
So he was explaining to me exactly what's wrong with that knee.
Okay.
There's no petting. It's bone on bone. It's beyond tendonitis. It's a legit chronic problem that he's going to have. So you can't expect to see, 100% field time for Todd Gurley moving forward. Not to mention Cooper Kupp is back, but how chippy is he going to be, moving across the middle of the field, coming back from the ACL?
Mm-hmm.
You have Robert Woods. You have the pieces.
Yeah, you definitely have the pieces.
Will play fine in a pressure-free game.
Mm-hmm.
The defense against an elite offense is going to get torched.
Yep.
A la the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And the Saints. That game was a close game, but it was not a 10-7 game.
Right, absolutely.
So I get it. I get why you would like the Rams, because on paper they should be destroying everybody, and the division's theirs to lose.
Yep.
Seattle's a team that's destined to severely regress at some point, and I wonder if I know the Niners are not back to normal yet, but they're getting close.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a year or two they'll be there.
Yeah, they're. But again, you never know. Is the Rams this year got to go play the AFC North? That is a good gut check, like a good barometer of where that team stands, because they will. How is a Rams team going to handle, let's say, the team that might be the best defense in the NFL, which is Baltimore?
Mm-hmm.
How are they going to handle getting punched in the mouth literally every single play?
Yeah, that's going to be tough, especially with no running back if Gurley's not 100%.
Right. But go ahead, Eddie, my fault.
Go ahead. Mine.
No, I was just gonna say, I think they got it right putting them behind New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
I would have put them at 4. I would have put New England ahead of them.
Yeah, definitely agree there.
That's my one discrepancy.
Okay, go ahead, E.
Yeah, I agree. Just to go back real quick on the Todd Gurley, let's remember there was a reason why he fell in the draft to where he was drafted.
Right.
A lot of teams did fear the injury.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
A lot of teams did fear his injury. And the thing about that defense that worries me a little is they did lose Joyner and replaced him with Eric Weddle, who's a little bit older.
Yep.
And Marcus Peters got picked on a lot last year.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And Talib's another year older.
Yep.
I mean, granted, they probably have the best defensive player in the league.
Yeah, at Aaron Donald.
That right there, he can help you slow down a game in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
We all know they can get after the quarterback.
Yep.
But just agree with Luke. I agree with the Saints being higher than them, but I would have put the Patriots over them.
Yeah. I think we all agree that the Patriots should have been higher than them. They beat them in the Super Bowl last year, so that just proved that they're better than them from there. But moving on to the number 2 ranking, and that is the team that should have beat the Rams in the playoffs last year, which is the New Orleans Saints. And the Patriots in the Super Bowl, which we all believe they would have won if they went on to the Super Bowl. They have them at 10 wins this year, 76% chance to win. Now, before I first, let me say I definitely agree with this. I think they have a lot to prove this year, that they should have been there last year and that they're going to try to get there this year. They have all the pieces. But my thing is, I don't want people to automatically assume that because of what happened last year that this is going to be some magical season for them and they're going to blow the chains off of everybody because they're so motivated to get there because of the blown call that happened last year. I think everyone needs to just forget about that. I mean, you can't forget about them. Let me not say that. That's something that will never happen. But they need to be focused. That's where my problem lies with the Saints. Are they going to be focused about this upcoming season and not stuck on what happened last year? Because last year is over. You didn't win. It's over. We all know it was horrible what happened to you guys, and we all believe that you guys should have been in the Super Bowl and probably would have won the Super Bowl. But that's over with. It's gone. You have to move on, and I hope that does not derail them this season because I could see it happening. I could definitely see that whole thing just derailing the Saints and them not having the great season that everyone expects them to have. But that being said, I still think the Saints are going to be the second to best team in the NFL. Go ahead.
Let me say this. When have we ever seen Sean Payton and a Drew Brees-led team lose focus? I think lose focus is kind of the wrong word. I personally believe them getting fucked in the title game makes them that much more dangerous because now I believe they are going to be on a mission to prove that they were by far the best team in that entire conference.
Right.
Again, no major losses. You added Jared Cook. The team is better this year, which is scary to begin with.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you lose Mark Ingram. What do you fucking do? You have Kamara.
Uh-huh.
cares? You don't need Mark Ingram in that offense.
Right.
So all I'm saying is, if you're playing the Saints, may God have mercy on your soul this year.
Go ahead, E.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I couldn't. Just the only thing I would say to push it even more is it kind of like it was. Everybody talks about that blown call. Let's not forget the year before when homeboy decided to play the wrong type of defense and go for the ball, give the game ender to Stephon Diggs. So that's 2 years in a row this team feels like they should have been.
Exactly, and that's why I'm gonna give. I agree that they should definitely be up there. They have more motivation than ever.
And to say, to agree with Luke is to lose focus. I would understand if they had a younger up and coming quarterback, but they got fucking Drew Brees.
Right.
I'm not gonna doubt him and his focus at all. They did the smart thing. They paid Michael Thomas, got that out of the way early. Let's everybody get on the same page and let's go for this run for the Super Bowl.
Yep.
We know we should have been in at least 2 years already.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I agree with all those things.
They're another team that I don't really see anybody in that division being too much of a threat.
See, that's where I disagree a little bit. I think not only do I think Atlanta's going to be better this year, I think Carolina's going to be better this year. And those are teams that still have good defenses. So I think in that division, they're going to be a little bit tougher this year. I don't think they're going to be 13-3, maybe 11-5 or something like that, maybe 12-4. But because of that division, I think that division is going to be a little bit stronger this year, but they still will be the best team in that division.
Yeah, I don't think that's close. Yeah, I don't think that's close.
Yeah, that's the only thing. You can say the division, the teams are going to be better, but I don't think any of those teams are going to be on their level.
No, absolutely not.
The gap is still so far.
Yeah, it's too big of a gap for them to say, all right, we improved, so we're that much closer. Nah, you still got a long way to go.
No, absolutely. You definitely have long ways to go, for sure. So, yeah, that's number 2. Now we're going to move on to the number 1, which I think all three of us will probably agree on this one. And that one is the Kansas City Chiefs, who had the most explosive offense last year with their quarterback in his first year throwing 50 touchdowns and over 5,000 yards. Didn't have much of a defense, but we saw – but still, yeah, they still put up amazing numbers. And they did add a little bit on the defensive end with the Honey Badger. They did lose Justin Houston and Eric Berry on defense and D Ford. So it'll be interesting to see what that defense looks like. They didn't obviously get better, I don't think. But that offense is still there. They still have Tyreek Hill and Kelsey and Watkins. And I didn't see much of the preseason, but I did see a highlight from one of their receivers, I think it was.
Miko Hardman.
Oh, my God. That dude is fast. That's another Tyreek Hill on their team. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, he had a touchdown yesterday where off of a jet sweep, and he hit this level that only you see with a few players in the NFL, and he definitely had that second level, that second gear where he just took off and no one could catch him. So it'll be interesting to see how much of a role he plays for them next year. Go ahead, Eve.
I mean, if you know me, you know how I really feel about the Chiefs. I say fuck them. I hope they go on 0-16. But being real, the only threat in our division to them is the Chargers, who had a pretty good year last year. They were right on their ass.
Yep.
So let's not. But this is a team that was at least 1 or 2 stops away from making it to the Super Bowl. But that defense is fucking awful.
Yeah.
They've been like when they played a good team, they were just it was a shootout.
Yeah.
And the one thing every time we talk about the Chiefs, I keep bringing up is that's another year. Last year was Mahomes. Obviously, he wasn't a rookie, but it was his first year starting. So now the book is out on him.
Yep.
Teams are gonna have to game plan. I mean, they're a tough team to game plan against because you got guys like Tyreek Hill and fucking Travis Kelce. But are they gonna be able to put up the points they continue to put up every week? Because that defense is gonna give up points. You said they added on their defense with Tyrann Mathieu and Frank Clark. To me, it's not really added. At best, you can call it a wash because they lost. The best member of that defense last year was D Ford.
Mm-hmm.
And you lost. So you lost 2 pass rushes and added 1.
Yeah.
It's gonna hurt them.
Yep.
For sure.
Let's also not forget D Ford. On a sheer 1-to-1 comparison, I'll take him over Frank Clark.
Yeah, for sure.
You also sold draft picks, like high draft picks, on a team that's young and has really, until they prove otherwise, no clue what the fuck they're doing on defense.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason they beat the Colts in the playoffs last year was because they played that game in, I believe, a torrential rainstorm.
Yeah, they did.
Which completely rendered Ebron and Luck useless.
Yep.
So aside from that, this team, does this not remind you of the Steelers of like 4 years ago, where it was a young defense that didn't really know what they were doing, but an elite offense? All that did was get us to the divisional round.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, I think among the three of us, I don't think anyone here has the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl. Do they?
I think I do, actually.
You do? You're wrong.
We shall see.
I mean, come on, man. We
I just don't see any.
Honey Badger's an upgrade over Eric Berry. Sure. Frank Clark is a severe downgrade, or not severe, but he's a noticeable downgrade from D Ford.
Look, I hear what you're saying.
He took their best corner.
I hear what you're saying, but there's no, besides the Patriots and the Steelers, there's no other teams that really give me a threat, because this is how I see it. I see the Chiefs are going to be, again, the number 1 seed in the AFC. So that means that they're going to get a 1 week bye. And whoever they play in that game will most likely be someone that just doesn't have enough offensive power to beat them, because that's all they need. If they put up the points, they're going to get far enough to how they did last year. Now, I forgot. I think I actually have them playing the Colts in the. Go ahead.
I got another team you didn't talk about. You see that? Fucking Chargers. Yup.
I don't see the Chargers getting past the first round next year.
There's not one defensive back on that team that can cover Keenan Allen. Right.
No, absolutely. Absolutely, but
that's Mike Williams, another big target. Can't guard him. Now let's say the Chargers get everything fixed out and get Melvin Gordon back. They were literally a play away. The Chargers were a play away from being the number 1 seed in the AFC last year.
Yeah. But
so for you to say you only see the Patriots and the Steelers, I say you got to count the Chargers in. You have
I say on paper you got to put them in, but the Chargers, we see the same thing every year.
Well, because the Chargers didn't lose that really didn't lose much here.
No, they didn't. I'm not taking anything away from the Chargers, but I see the same fate that they have every year. They get to the playoffs, they have a great season, and they lose the second round. Like, I don't see anything different from them.
Most of that time, the Chargers are playing against fucking New England, and we all know they just can't beat New England.
Right, and who's to say that they won't see New England in the second round? We don't know.
If they can outlast the Chiefs, they'll be that number 1 seed.
I don't see that. I just don't see.
My thing is, if we're gonna be real about it, the Chiefs have the possibility of being the worst defense in our division.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that, but
you know what I mean?
I think because of what we saw last year, they could do it again. I just believe they can do it again.
Because let's be honest, for them to be the number one seed, they needed all Mahomes 50 touchdowns last year.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
He's not throwing 50 again this year.
No, we all. I said that last podcast. He's definitely not doing that again. But I do see him leading the league in touchdowns again, and possibly in passing yards. I can see it. The weapons are still there. The offense is still there. He's got a year under his belt to have seen all these NFL defenses. So I think he'll be a little bit more prepared this year because he did have his mistakes in late games where he would throw interceptions and shit like that. So I have faith in the Chiefs this year. I have a lot of faith in them. Again, I agree with both of your points about their defense. It is completely not there. Yeah, they added a few pieces, but not enough. So, but I still see them getting to the Super Bowl next year. I just have that gut feeling that they're going to get there, and I do agree with them being number one. Do you guys at least agree with them being number one on this list?
Honestly, no.
No, who would you put number one?
New Orleans.
Interesting. Okay. E.
I can agree with New Orleans being number one.
Okay. I ain't got no problem with that.
The only reason why I say that is we're all right, and we're clearing this off of what happened last year. We're doing it coming into this year, and I feel like New Orleans has a way better defense, and their quarterback is proven.
Yeah, he definitely is. He definitely is proven. But how well is he going to do against all these great defense this year? Because, like I said, that division didn't get amazingly better, but they did get better. The Falcons do have a defense. The Carolina Panthers do have a defense, and they're going to be better this year.
My thing is that the shit, like, for New England is, if Kansas City is, if they happen to get stopped, they could possibly lose the game now because their defense can't stop an offense 2 times.
Mm-hmm. I hear you on that.
That's their biggest anything. All defense.
Yeah, absolutely. If they had a defense, at least a middle of the pack defense, they would be by far the best team in the NFL. Because
but they don't.
No, I agree. They don't. But
right. And trading those draft picks for fucking Frank Clark is gonna kill them in the long run.
It is definitely in the long run, but I'm still think they're gonna be a good team this year, and they're gonna get to the next level.
Oh, they're gonna make the playoffs.
Yeah, no question.
Score at least 24 to 30 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
The only team that might be equipped to stop them is the Ravens and the Bears.
Yeah. Yep.
Aside from that, and even then, you're talking about teams where that's a defense first team in both Chicago and Baltimore, where their subpar defense might be able to get a couple lucky turnovers and win the game.
True.
Yeah, because those teams have young, unproven quarterbacks.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with all your points. I just, like I said, I just have a gut feeling that they are going to get past it this year.
Also, who's on the cover, Matt?
Don't get me with that Madden curse shit.
Yeah.
Don't give me that Madden curse shit.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. What happened to Antonio Brown? That he went literally fucking crazy? Madden curse.
I don't want to hear that shit.
And got outperformed to an extent by Juju last year. Mahomes.
But still put up a whole bunch of numbers. Let's not act like he wasn't balling last year.
Come on. Antonio Brown was like the first Madden curse that didn't actually tear his knee.
That's what I'm saying. As long as he's not injured, I think he's still going to be good. He's not gonna, like you said, he's not gonna put up those numbers he did last year, but he'll still be in the conversation. What was that?
Curse is real, man.
No, I agree, but I just don't think it's gonna affect this dude.
If he has a subpar season now, adding curse is real.
Yeah, that's what everyone wants right now, especially E, because he hates the Chiefs. But
I don't hate the Chiefs, but the Madden curse is
all right, so we're gonna move on from that. That's the power rankings. We're gonna go to our last topic, and the last topic is this whole drama behind Brady and the Patriots, and that this may be his last season in New England. What are your thoughts on that? I'll start with you, Luke.
He ain't leaving. I mean, why would if you can perform and go to AFC title games every year, why would you leave?
All right, but what if they don't re-sign him?
Did they just extend him?
They did, but it's on a one. It's basically a 1-year contract.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then my whole thing is, until Tom Brady shows you that he's either physically incapable of carrying out the duties of an NFL quarterback, why wouldn't he play? He's already what, 43?
Yeah, I think he just turned 43 or 42, something like that.
Yeah. So if he's already past 40 and still performing, just let the guy play until he physically can't play anymore. We know he can't run. That's never been his game anyway.
Mm-hmm.
He can still throw, and he can still see and read a defense.
Yep.
So why wouldn't, if he wants to retire, I get it, but everything's gonna be on his terms.
Mm-hmm.
And he's earned that right.
Yeah, absolutely. E, go ahead.
Two things. One, he's 42 and he's still playing at a high level. He doesn't take hits really, where you can say the injuries are starting, get on him and all of that, all the time. So he's still pretty much fucking healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Two, let's not forget, the guy Belichick wanted as his successor, they forced Belichick to trade.
Right.
Yeah. So in their eyes, they don't see nobody who's ready to take over, who they feel is going to take over. And I think it was last year that Brady said he could see himself playing 5 more years.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes back to my first point where, honestly, he could still do it because of the system he's in. He gets the ball out of his hands quick. He doesn't hold it. He doesn't get hit. He doesn't take bad hits. And if he's 42 and he's still winning Super Bowls, why would you go anywhere? Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree with you guys. There's no reason for him to go anywhere. He's doing it. He's still winning championships at 42, 43 years old. And we already seen Bill Belichick try to get rid of him before, and it didn't work. So I don't see that changing. Now we obviously know the Patriot way is they usually get rid of you 2 years before, or before it's 2 years late. But when it comes to Tom Brady, he's an exception. He's the only exception that should get that. So until, like Luke said, until he or both of you guys actually said, until he can't perform at that same level that he has been, and he can't win championships again, then maybe you make a decision to move on from him. But until then, he's going to be in a Patriot uniform until he retires. That's just what it is. And I'm pretty much a Patriot hater, but I just have to accept it. It is what it is.
I mean, yeah, but it's not like you have to play him all the goddamn time like me and E's teams do.
Yeah, I actually do. We do play the Patriots this year, though. Cowboys do play them this year.
I think it's like the first year in years we don't play them.
Yeah, well, fuck me then, because we get them week 1.
That'll be interesting. That's a good test, though. I think that's going to be a really good test for the Steelers to start off against the champions and see what they got.
That's Devin Bush's coming out party.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. So that's all the topics that we had for today. Before we end the show, Luke, I want to give you the platform to let people know what's going on with you as well as far as the podcast is.
All right. So yeah, we do the Bleacher Creatures. It's a Jones and for Sports production. So it's in the family tree with this one and the E&J Full Court Shot. Check it out because we cover all sports. It tends to be a little bit more baseball heavy because that's me and my co-host John's bread and butter.
Yeah.
But it's a good show. It's definitely unfiltered.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's a good show for people who are tired of WFAN and that bullshit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, that's it. Just another reminder: if you guys want to join Madden Online, Madden 20, just hit me up at JNFS2391. That's my gamer tag for PS4, and I'll get you involved with that. Anything else, fellas, that you guys wanted to point out?